Well, hello, you gorgeous mother truckers, you, and welcome to another video. Yeah, I'm doing this one inside. It's far, far too cold outside. Currently, where I live, it's -3 at 4:45 in the evening. Any case, as you can tell by the picture and by the thumbnail and by the title, good old Nigel Farage has done it again. He has yet again proved. Every time I've said, you got to be careful, this guy isn't what he seems, he's a bit of a snake, he goes and proves it yet again. Now, this isn't me saying reform is a bad idea, but what I'm saying is the leadership of reform, i.e. Nigel Farage, Richard Tice and Azir Youssef, are the problem. I have the utmost respect and admiration for Rupert Lowe, because he's the reform politician we expected or thought that we were going to get with the rest of them, and fortunately we're not. So after Nigel has 3 times in the last week kicked Tommy Robinson when he was down by constantly going on about the fact that we don't want him in reform, even though, to set the record straight again, he never asked to be part of reform. He doesn't want to be part of reform. That's not his agenda. So it's no good going on about you won't have him in reform. He didn't want to be there in the first place. Then to tell lies about him being charged and for wife beating when he actually hasn't, and his ex-wife had to actually come out and actually say that wasn't the truth. He's done it again in a later interview, because the thing is, if you don't want people to keep going on about Tommy Robinson in your party, Nigel, stop talking about him. It's as simple as that. But of course, he then goes and does the next thing, which is to suggest that it might be a good idea for us to consider to have Shamima Begum back in this country. And is this done because his feelings towards Shamima Begum have changed? Well, I mean, he doesn't see her as full ISIS, even though she sewed people into bomb vests, suicide bomb vests, and pointed AK-47s at people, and lived in a world where she regularly said that she saw buckets full of severed heads. No, she's not really full ISIS, and she isn't really the problem. She is the problem. And is this because of that? No, this is because of Seb Gorka. Seb Gorka is a security analyst for Donald Trump, and he says basically people start to need to take in their terrorists back and look after them, and this is because of the Americans don't want to deal with them. So I actually was astounded when I saw this on ITV News, so I said in a tweet, which I've learnt some new insults. I'm probably the best one, the new fresh one, which I think is absolutely excellent, and is a Tommy turd. Yeah, okay, right. And they're all going, oh, well, he was misquoted, and this, that, and the other. Right, okay, we'll go on to what was said first, and then I'll explain a few things as I see them. So, first to come up was Azir Youssef. Now, Wolf here, he's correct. In a desperate attempt to defend it at Nigel Farage, Azir Youssef asks voters if they prefer Shamima Begum in a UK prison or Syria. And as he quite rightly says, or she, I don't know who Wolf is, I'd rather she be in Syria than costing taxpayers thousands to imprison her, and then what happens when she's eventually let out on the street. And also, don't forget that when if she shouldn't, I mean, we all know she shouldn't be back, and therefore Nigel should also be saying the same. But in any case, we'll get on to that in a minute. So, what we have, go from that in 3, 2, 1. So, what we have is the fact that if she did come back, and we don't want her back, no one wants her back, even the Labour government has said she's not coming back, but it's beside the point. If she did come back, hypothetically, there isn't anything we can actually imprison her in this country for the rest of her life with, at all. So eventually, and quicker sooner than later, she will be allowed out. And when she comes out, she's going to need psychological help, therapists, somewhere to live, benefits, etc., etc., etc. So when she does come back, after costing us thousands and thousands of pounds to be put in prison, she's then going to cost us thousands and thousands of pounds to be looked after at our expense. And that's not without really genuinely knowing whether or not she has changed. And I don't think she has. We've seen it all over the world where we've had people, ISIS people, come out of sleeper cells and do horrendous things all over the world. So that isn't acceptable. So in any case, so here's Zia apparently defending Nigel. So let's just...
If anyone actually cares about truth, then they should actually look what Nigel actually said, which was that what's happened in Syria is that there's been regime change. And let's be clear about what's happened as a result of that. You have jihadists in senior government positions. If you are a British citizen and you are concerned that there are people in Syrian prisons that are security threats to the United Kingdom, where would you rather they were sitting? Inside a prison in a now potentially jihadist-controlled Syria, or inside a maximum security prison inside the United Kingdom? And that's what the point Nigel was making.
Well, except of course that wasn't the point he was making at all. And the answer to that is, leave her in Syria. We don't want her back here. Why you would want someone who's back here, who, in any case, you can't, because the first thing you got to do is reinstate her British citizenship and etc. And the simple truth of the matter is, if she's in a jihadi place, that's where she ran off to be with, so just let her get on with it. Now, the thing is, with this thought process that they're using at the moment, that kind of says to me that they're kind of along the lines of, well, we prefer her back. But it wasn't exactly what Nigel said, because it really, really wasn't. Because we can actually now play what was said on ITV. So let's just have a listen as we bring it up. And yeah, let's just listen to the words from the man himself.
This week, one of Donald Trump's advisors, Seb Gorka, suggested the UK government should consider bringing back British ISIS supporters imprisoned in Syria, such as Shamima Begum.
You think it's something the UK should consider, bringing back Shamima Begum?
I've never wanted to. I've instinctively never wanted to. And I'm now thoughtful. I'm thoughtful. I mean, I don't classify her as an all-out ISIS killer. So she's sort of she is a lesser part of the equation.
But do you think the UK government should listen to this? Do you think they should be considering bringing back some of these ISIS supporters back to the UK?
I think what Gorka has done is started a debate. Not one that I wanted to have, and not one the British government wanted to have, but now we're going to have to.
And he's got a point.
Regrettably, yes.
There you go. For all of you who are calling me whatever, Tommy Turd or whatever else you want to call me, because he never actually said yes. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He suggested that it would be something that needs to be considered. No, it doesn't. It genuinely doesn't need to be considered in any way, shape or form. To turn around and say, I'm thoughtful, I don't classify her as an ISIS or an ISIS killer. This has changed not because of Nigel's thought process, but because his mate, Donald Trump's terror chief, has said that they should. That's what he's saying. Because what he wants is, he says here that Gorka argues that if we and other European countries don't take these people and put them in prison here, they will get out of prison under the new Syrian regime, leading to a problem that in the end we all have to fight. But the simple right thing with that is, as I've said, alluded to earlier in this, you can't put her in prison indefinitely in this country because there is no charge that you could make stick for only a couple of years. So then the problem in the end that we may all have to fight will already be back out. And that's the thing that everybody doesn't understand. Now, to say the words regrettably yes says that he thinks that we should take back Shamima Begum. It doesn't matter how you want to put it, that's the way it is. Now, Elon Musk did post by saying allowing ISIS fighters back into Europe simply sets the stage for terrorist mass murder. Exactly. Because that's exactly what you're doing. You are literally creating an issue. We already have a massive issue in this country of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of undocumented fighting age male immigrants floating over here in a dinghy and being put all over the country. Not sustained and contained in one area. No, literally, due to Operation Scatter, lobbing them out all over the country so they're everywhere. You're literally putting units into every little village, town, city centre in this country of fighting aged Muslim men. Now, is that a good idea? And I know a lot of you, because I've experienced it now on several of the videos that I've done where I've questioned Nigel's sincerity and his thought process, apart from the fact it's always making it about him. And I get attacked on a regular basis for it. And again, I'm going to get attacked for this. But the simple truth of the matter is, we have to hold ourselves, and I've mentioned this in videos before, we have to hold everybody to account, whether they're on the left or on the right. For him to turn around and say that we should consider, even consider, taking her back is disgraceful and shows his true colours. Now, some people say, oh, well, he's playing politics. He's not playing politics, is he? Because if you were going to play politics, and very much akin to when he keeps getting asked about Tommy, is no comment. I don't need to talk about that. There you go. And that solves the problem. When it comes, you know, he has shown here, his loyalties lie with America, because he'll listen to what American people will tell him to think, but not pay attention to what's going on. This is all down to the fact that Seb Gorka said this, and now he's come out and said this, and then we're going to go out and lie and lie and lie to try and cover this up. But this isn't the first time he's done and said something that's absolutely outrageous, and you get attacked for it if you bring it up. The last video I did when I talked about him throwing Tommy under the bus, which he's done yet again for the third time now. I get a lot of people who agree, but I always get the people who will just jump to Nigel's defence and call me everything under the sun. Look, I understand we need change. Yes, we do need reform. We need a party like reform, but not with these leaderships. Because what you're doing by being so blindly loyal to somebody, because he's being portrayed as your only hope, are you really, genuinely, hand on heart, that desperate for change that you're prepared to turn a blind eye to all of this? Remember that he said that we shouldn't alienate the Muslim vote. So, and our immigration process will be one in, one out, because it's too difficult to deport people, which it really isn't. And if he wants to take a leaf out of America, the new American guy's coming, I can't remember his name, he just said he's going to deport them and said, what happens if their family's here? So I'll deport them and all. Because it can be done, it's easy done. And it's just rubbish. So he's appeasing. He's flip-flopping, he's appeasing, and clearly his mindset is what America says, and not necessarily what's right for this country. In any case, two pictures appearing up on the screen right now. One will be the last one I uploaded, and the one below will be one that the gods of YouTube, with their mighty algorithm, decided that you need to watch. Why deny the algorithm? As you can see on there, you can now support me. Link in the description down below. If you want to buy me a coffee in Ko-fi or coffee, then you can feel free to do so. Don't forget, if you're one of the 86% of people who watch my videos on YouTube and aren't subscribed, why not? It's totally free. Just hit that subscribe button. Don't cost you a penny, and you'll just get my eternal gratification and gratitude, because it helps the channel, as does the likes, the shares, and of course the comment section, which I'm really looking forward to reading when this video lands. Any case, enough of that. I am done. So until the next one.